Hey Facebook! Thank you, first of all, so much for all of the love that you shared on my video that I took yesterday. And I had several of you reach out to me. I'm still responding to emails, so if you're waiting for a response, I will get back to you ASAP. And I also had several of you reach out to me about anxiety because I mentioned anxiety in my video yesterday. So I just wanted to address that in a video. It's a little quicker. I wanted to first let you all know a little bit about my background because I really don't talk that much about anxiety. So basically for me, anxiety started around October of 2015. I had been working an at-home online business. I was hustling really hard. I had huge goals. One of my huge goals was to retire my husband from his retail management job that he absolutely hated because it was his second life. He was at work more than he was at home. He didn't see the kids in the morning because they were still sleeping, and when he got home at night, they were sleeping already. So we kind of got to a point where he was like, I don't know if I can do this the rest of my life, and I didn't know what else to do, so I signed up for an online business. It was my side hustle. My first goal was to retire myself, and then my second goal was to retire him. And even though that was my goal, and in my mind I knew it was going to happen, I knew that I could work really hard and make it happen, it was still so far away and it didn't seem real. So in October of 2015, we were anticipating holidays. Holidays in retail, absolute nightmare. So he's like, I don't know if I'm ready for all this. And I'm like, do you want to just retire now and we'll just work really, really hard and we'll make it happen. Like we will work hard and we'll make it happen. So we decided he was going to retire. He put in his 2 weeks. I was super excited. And then the day came where he was home full time for the first time. And I don't know if it was the anticipation or the change of the situation, but I literally freaked out in my head. It was a subconscious thing, but I freaked out in my head. And the very first day that he was home, I remember driving down the road. We were heading to Best Buy to buy him a laptop because he was going to work at home with me. And I told him he needed to pull over. I felt like my heart was racing, and it's crazy because as I talk about this, it's almost like I'm reliving it. I almost feel like my heart is beating really fast as I talk about it. It's crazy. Anxiety. So I told him to pull over the car. I got out of the car and I started pacing the parking lot. I told him I felt like I was having a heart attack. I didn't know what was going on. So he called my doctor. He brought me to the doctor's office. When I got there, my resting heart rate was 145, which is super high. My blood pressure was through the roof, which isn't normal for me. I normally have pretty good blood pressure. I was in a health and fitness business. And the doctor thought I was having a stroke. She was really worried about me. She didn't tell me until after the fact. I actually had an EKG or ECG, whatever you call it, to make sure that everything was okay with my heart because she was worried about my heart. And then she diagnosed me with anxiety and panic disorder. And she prescribed me some medication. And I'm not all for medication. If you know a little more from my background, I actually was in a relationship with someone who was dependent on drugs. So I'm kind of against that. No offense to anyone who does take medication for anxiety, panic disorder, or depression. I do have medication on me just in case it gets bad. And if it does get bad, totally fine. I'm just one of those people that likes to try to nip things in the bud in a healthy, natural way. So after that, I decided I was going to look into ways that would help me lessen my anxiety. I had blood work taken, I had high cortisol, which is high stress levels, and I had some little minor things that were off, but mainly the reason for my panic attack was high stress levels. And I think it was all something I created in my own head. I don't think I really had a ton of stress in my life, but I think change in my life just creates a lot of stress. So I wanted to get on here and just share a few tips that have worked for me, and hopefully it will be something that you can take away that will be helpful for you as well. So the first one is limit caffeine. So caffeine actually raises your cortisol levels, which I said before is your stress level, it's your stress hormone. So limit caffeine. Even now, I have one small cup of coffee during the day. At the time of my panic attacks, I had to completely eliminate caffeine, and that definitely helped. But as I stopped getting anxiety, I started to lightly add just a little bit back in, because let's face it, I'm a mom. I wake up really early with the kids for school and I need my coffee. So at first I eliminated, and now I'm to one small cup of coffee daily, and that normally controls most of it. Number two is do personal development or listen to uplifting music. So anything that feeds your soul. If you're having an issue, look up a personal development book or audio that might help you with that issue. It might help resolve some of that for you and lessen your stress load. Listening to uplifting music, it just feeds your soul. So think of something that will feed your soul and make you happy, and do more of those things. Focus on the things you can control, not the things that you can't. And this is something I'm really guilty of, because you can very easily stress on what happened yesterday and let it stew in your head and stew in your head and just stress yourself out. Or you can overwhelm yourself with what's going to happen in the future, and that's something that's completely out of your control. Actually, both of those are. So I try really hard to focus on the present and how I'm feeling in the present, and not necessarily stewing over the past or overwhelming myself about the future, and that lessens a lot of the stress in me. Number four is, and this seems silly because I was really, I don't know, my thoughts about guided meditation. I didn't really understand it. Any meditation I had tried in the past just didn't feel natural to me. But when I was at the doctor's, the nurse recommended it. So I looked on YouTube. I didn't really find anything that I loved on YouTube. I'm sure there are many that are great. But I did find an app called Headspace. And Headspace is a great guided meditation that isn't cheesy, but it helps you quiet your mind, and quieting your mind will also reduce your cortisol stress levels. So try it out. Headspace, it's a free trial, so just try it out. If you don't love it, cancel it. But whenever I'm feeling really stressed out, I try to do that once a day for about 10 minutes, and I can't even believe how much better I feel afterwards. Yoga is another good one for making you just feel quieter and better. Number five is do something for someone else. I know anxiety and depression, it's a lot of focusing on you and what's going on with you, but if you focus on doing something and paying it forward and doing something for someone else, you won't even believe the after effects of how much better you feel. So when you're doing something for someone else, you're actually both winning. You're actually both going to feel better. So try that out too. I didn't number these, so I think it's number six. Number six, do something you know brings you joy. So think about 10 things that are your favorite things ever to do. You know, within reason, not necessarily like travel out of the country or anything like that. Just something simple. 10 simple things that just bring you happiness, and try to do one of those things every single day. And my last one, if you're feeling super anxious, and this is something the nurse at the doctor's office taught me, if you're feeling super anxious, breathe in, hold it for 5 seconds, and then breathe out. And keep doing that. It will help you catch your breath. It will help calm you down. It works wonders. Whenever I am stressed, that is what I do. And actually, I have one more. Like I said before, I try to help my anxiety by anything natural, but I'm also not opposed to medication if it's needed. I have medication, and I feel like I don't take it every day. I actually rarely take it, but just having it, knowing that if my anxiety gets so high to where it becomes a panic attack, just knowing that it's there eases my mind. And I have a very low dose of something that does not make me feel buzzed or loopy or any different. Honestly, if I take one, I don't feel any different. So if you want more information on that, just let me know. I can tell you what my doctor prescribed me. Like I said, she prescribes me She tells me to come in every 4 months, but literally a whole prescription can last me an entire year because I do not take it every day. But if this is something you want more info on, let me know. I'd be happy to share it with you, and maybe you can consult your doctor about it. And I hope these tips helped you. If they did, please put a heart or a 1 below, or share this post if you know someone with anxiety who might be able to benefit from these tips. Thank you guys, and I will talk to you next time.